And welcome to Newsroom right here on GHOne television. We are live from our studios at the Platinum Place here, North Ridge, Accra. Also live on DSTV channel 361, GoTV channel 123, and also live on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube at GHOne television. The headlines now. The NDC MPP's flag bearer, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, apologizes for his commentary comparing Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's achievements to Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah. Says his comments are a reflection of his personal opinion. Also, residents in Pung take to the streets with massive demonstration over bad roads. We are live there shortly. In business this morning, cement manufacturers described controversial LI on price regulation as unconstitutional upon further consultation. And elsewhere, 4 migrants die in English Channel crossing attempts. We've got details of these and more coming up shortly. Stay with us. Grateful for your company this morning. My name is Joshua Kodjo Mensah. To the details now. And Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the running mate to the MPP's flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has apologized for his statement seeking to place the achievements of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo over the accomplishments of Ghana's first president, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Now, Dr. Opoku Prempeh, who is battling with the arrogant stag that has since become an albatross on his neck, at his unveiling in Kumasi on Tuesday, noted that the achievements of Nana Addo are unmatched. However, things went south when the outgoing energy minister and MP for Mensah South threw in the Kwame Nkrumah bit. Now, this irked a section of the public, prompting an Nkrumah campaign on social media, with netizens posting pictures of statues of Osagyefo in other African countries. But after heavy backlash, Napo has apologized 3 days on. And so you would have the apology letter on your screens now. Let me take the apology letter for you. It says, "My attention has been drawn." So let me go through the apology letter basically on the screens now. It says that my statement last Tuesday, 9th July in Kumasi on the performance of President Akufo-Addo has elicited varied reactions. The statement reflects my personal opinion about President Akufo-Addo's impact relative to other presidents we have had. Now, I wish to emphasize that I never meant to disrespect our former president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, or any of our former heads of state, including my own grand uncle and mentor, Mr. John Ajekun Kufuor. I note the concerns raised after my statement. I apologize sincerely and regret any discomfort caused. And it's signed, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, running mate to the MPP presidential candidate on the 12th day of July 2024. So that's the apology coming in from Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, basically saying that, well, even though it is a reflection of his personal opinion on the subject matter, he is also apologizing sincerely because it has irked a lot of people, and definitely we are having some concerns with that. All right, so let's go over to Zoom now and have a conversation on this particular matter. It's been one of major interest, and let's speak to the Secretary to CPP Independence Committee, Kwame Nkrumah Bochio. Kwame Nkrumah has joined me. Kwame, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're doing very well.
You're welcome, my brother. I'm well, thank you.
Great. So the concern was that Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh should apologize, he should resign, and all other things. Now he has finally apologized. This carried for you.
We have not heard him apologize. And secondly, the apology letter is not signed by him or anyone else. If indeed he attests that he wrote that apology letter, then we'll take another look at the contents. On the surface, the contents are almost satisfactory, but we cannot adequately respond to an unsigned letter, especially as he has not spoken to it. And these days of social media, it can emanate from anywhere at all. So I would say that we do not have enough grounds to respond as it is.
But as it stands now, we've done some few checks and we've seen even very prominent people of the NPP themselves also share this particular one. And you say it's not signed because you've not seen a signature, but his name is there. He's put it there clearly.
Yes, that is true. But in this social media age, you can even have deep fakes. People can even do videos of other people which are not them. And his name is there, but anybody can put their name there. We are not saying he has to sign by all means. But if he comes out to speak to it and says, I issued that letter, then we can take it from there. But as it stands now, it's an exercise in futility. We cannot speak to something that he has not confirmed that is from him.
You mentioned that the content is almost satisfactory. What is almost satisfactory about that content, and what was left out of that apology that was contained in that statement that you say you are yet to verify?
If you look at the statement that was made, it can be divided into a number of legs.
Right.
Two of the main ones are the comparison between His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the second is the reference to our substitute Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. I believe this statement explains that he was just expressing his view and he's entitled to his view, but the statement does not address the part of the Kwame Nkrumah.
Right. Kwame Nkrumah, are you still active there? Right. So we are having a bit of challenge. Right. So we're having a bit of challenge with Kwame Nkrumah and his connection there, but we'll try and establish a better connection to him. But let's now look at what you also have been saying on social media regarding this apology from Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. He says, hey, even though it's a reflection of his personal views, he's sorry. He's apologizing sincerely as a result of how it has affected us. And Nana Ama Akwa has joined me on the other side. Nana, I must say, you're looking really good.
Thank you very much.
But what is the conversation on social media like regarding the apology from Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh?
Well, Joshua, we put this letter up, I don't think it was more than an hour and a half ago. Facebook, within 30 minutes, I think, had about 300 plus comments. Twitter was also moving in the same direction, as was Instagram. Let's start with Facebook here. Faustina says Napo is not the one who issued this letter because he had the opportunity to apologize when he went to the Western region. Rather, he defended his words. MPP, get serious. Nana Kodjo says it's only in Ghana when someone apologizes we think he is demonstrating leadership. Same people will not apologize when is in full control of power. Then Hassan adds, Napo has demonstrated leadership and courage. Going back on the previous comment. Instagram here, we have our first comment. Too late. The Gary has already been poured into the sand. You can't pick it back. This was an interesting comment for me. Then Selassie says, this is not Napo. Forget it. He said that I will stand by my words and nothing is going to change it. Ernest says, I know this man. This is not his handwriting. Then Benny K, after the justification. Then we have Mac Mill says, everyone can clearly see this is a forced apology. Even with that, he still stands by his words. When we go to X, formerly Twitter, he should hold a press conference and apologize properly. Then we have Bashiru. Napo, your willingness to acknowledge and apologize for mistakes demonstrates that you will be a receptive and accountable vice president. Your humility and openness are admirable traits. Well done. That's Bashiru there. Then here, you will never be vice president. Arrogant Napo. And then tags him there. Then we have Prof here, but he said he didn't mean anything wrong, so why apologizing? Your first speech as running mate and you are apologizing even after a lot of backlash. What will you then do when given power? Take your arrogance away from us. That's Prof there. Kweku says, let's meet on 7th December to settle the scores on whether you've been forgiven or not at Mr. Arrogant Jr. there. Colin says, Matthew O. Prempeh had one mission: to stir the hearts of people so that the sons and daughters of a given nation strive to emulate their leader's greatness. Unfortunately, he decided to take a swipe at Kwame Nkrumah. To be fair, he should be guided not to speak unscripted. Then we have Kobe going through the comments, and I don't know what Ghanaians want him to do. He said what he said and he apologized. Let's move on. It's okay to be overly excited and say things you don't mean. He can't change the hands of time. Let's move on. He's only human. Indeed, he is only a human being. My name is Nanama Akwa. Joshua, back over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing us what people are saying on social media. But you know what? Let's get a conversation going still on our social media handles at GHOne Television. But let's turn our attention to some other stories this morning. And the Member of Parliament for North Ton, Samuel Kodjo Ablakwa, says the government should expect a nationwide demonstration if it continues with the sale of 60% of SNIT interest in some hotels to Rock City. Now, initially on June 28, what we do know is that the NPRA issued a directive to the SNIT board demanding it suspends all processes leading to the sale to Rock City Limited as a strategic investor. And recently we also heard from SNIT. They say that despite all that is going on, what is happening is that the hotels still need an investor. Well, answering a question on the floor of Parliament on Thursday, July 11, Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafui, he has disclosed that the NPRA has given SNIT the green light to proceed with the sale.
NPRA came up with a directive, but I will appreciate if my brother, my colleague, really read the directive from NPRA. It said it needed to be furnished with all information relating to the sale of the hotels, which SNIT has since done that. So it wasn't like a direct decision that SNIT should not go ahead to do anything, but then SNIT can only go ahead when NPRA, which is the regulator within the field, had actually certified that they had seen all the documentation and the processes and they think that they are good to go. Well,
Honorable, please conclude your answer.
Yes, so as a minister, I can tell you on authority that NPRA has since indicated that they had seen the processes and they think that SNIT can go ahead.
That was what the minister disclosed in Parliament yesterday. Well, reacting to this, the Member of Parliament for North Ton, Samuel Kodjo Ablakwa, says government should expect a nationwide demonstration if this sale goes through.
We challenge the NPRA to publish the outcome of their review, if they are proud of what they have done, if their review is superior to what the transaction advisor has done, if they know they have engaged in legitimate, transparent work. They should publish the review that they have done, subjected to public scrutiny, and let us see that indeed this transaction is above board. They cannot do it because they know they are engaged in insider dealing. We are going to stage the biggest demonstration on this matter across the country. The resistance will continue. We'll work with organized labor. There will be strikes. There is absolutely no way we are going to allow this obnoxious transaction to continue. The Minister for Employment and Labor Relations is clearly taking the Ghanaian people for granted, and he is underestimating our anger. How can the minister tell us that the NPRA has given SNIT the green light when, as we speak, the transaction advisor, Sem Capital, led by Dr. Sam Mensah, has issued a damning verdict on this transaction. What kind of review has the MPRA done? When the transaction advisor, remember we paid good money to the transaction advisor, $491,000, over 7 million Ghana cedis. If they won't listen to the transaction advisor, why are we spending so much money to obtain this advice from the transaction advisor? The transaction advisor is telling us that after reviewing this deal, they find that Rock City has been made an offer which other bidders did not have. Rock City has been allowed to pay half and then spread the half over a 24-month period. An insider dealing, clear bias, clear discrimination. Other bidders didn't have that. The SNIT pre-qualification criteria is that bidders should have a bank guarantee. Rock City doesn't have a bank guarantee. Rock City, according to the transaction advisor, doesn't have the source of funding. So what kind of green light is the MPRA giving? Clearly, these are government officials determined to sell these hotels, including profitable hotels, to their colleague in government. We are not going to accept this. And I want to serve notice that we are going to engage in nationwide demonstrations. We are going to collaborate with organized labor. There will be a grand resistance. There will be strikes. There will be demonstrations all over our country, and we are not going to allow this blatant, nauseating insider dealing to continue. I mean, look, we dare MPRA to publish the work they have done, the so-called review they did.
Well, let's move to some other stories this morning. And aggrieved customers of defunct Mensah say they will in the coming days petition the office of the Attorney General to push for a live telecast of the proceedings of Namwan's trial in court. Now, according to them, this will afford the many victims and thousands of people who would not have the opportunity to be in court to have a first-hand view of exactly the testimony that Nana Apia Mensah, aka Namwan, will give in court. So Frederick Folson is PRO for the Coalition of Aggrieved Customers of Mensah, and he spoke to the media after yesterday's trial.
Also particularly happy about the issue of fraudulent breach of trust. As we kept on saying, those money that were transferred to xylophone accounts, which culminated in those celebrities enjoying from our sweat, we kept on asking them that they should do the needful by surrendering those property that they acquired. And so it's all well and good. We are very happy. We are very grateful. It shows the depth of work that has been done by the Office of the Attorney General, led by the Director of Public Prosecution. And so like we said initially, we are extremely behind them. We believe in their case, and we have cooperated right from day one till now. We shall continue to cooperate with them. And so come 23rd July, we'll come to the court and look at the other arrangement. We will wish that we shall officially write to the Attorney General that the cross-examination should be telecast. It should be made live for everybody to listen to it, because the justice that we are seeking. I have been defrauded. I have been scammed. I do not want somebody else to go through the same process. So we think that it's important the whole nation watch it live, so that the necessary lessons can be learned. If those of you who have been with us, and I'm sure all of you have been with us, ever since we fell into this trap, we have done everything possible to stop any other schemes that are presented as a scam to the general public when it comes to our attention. So we want to request that the cross-examination proceedings will be telecast live.
Well, we do know that in court yesterday, the court, as a matter of fact, dismissed Namwan's application for a submission of no case to some 39 counts proffered against him by the Attorney General. Well, after proceedings yesterday, he has described this as unfair and says his lawyers will consider an appeal.
We thank the Republic for creating an enabling environment for us to be able to, go through the legal process. We thank the security services for the securities you have provided from then till now. I mean, it's been 6 years. So today, yes, we had some acquittal, we had some gains, we had some acquittal, and then I would say a huge chunk of it has been dismissed, which is fine. We disagree. We very much disagree, but it is worthy of note that the disagreement does not in any way erode our confidence in the judiciary and in the courts. Yeah, so I mean, I would speak with the defense legal team, and then we would consider and then explore all necessary rights to redress, under the parameters of rule of law. So, I mean, it's a win for Ghana, it's a win for rule of law. We have always maintained that we are not guilty, and we still stand by that. And listening to the lengthy ruling, certain keywords were very essential. Then they were like consistent. So for example, there were words like presumption, we presume, it appears, it looks like, it seems. What that tells me is that it's just like viewing it from on the face value, right, and not necessarily going into the fact of the matter. So I wouldn't also want to go into the merit or the demerit of the matter, because this is just the prima facie, which is like looking at it on the face value. So well, it could be a mirage, and this is just one person sitting down looking at it. So yeah, once we disagree, the law permits that we can always take it to an appellate court, or the legal remedies under a legal dispensation can be exercised. And so we would go back to the drawing table, in an attempt to defend ourselves, and then to affirm and then get a court to proclaim our innocence to the whole world. We would explore all the legal remedies, under.
Well, let me now take you to Kpone, where residents there have poured onto the streets in their numbers to demonstrate against the bad nature of the Kpone-Dawenya stretch. Now, according to them, the road, which is also known as the ECOWAS Road, saw some construction works, which saw some 2 bridges fixed on that stretch. Unfortunately, that work has been abandoned. Today, they poured onto the streets and they are demanding a resumption of that work.
From the motorway to the Wenya, that is the road we are talking about. What is the challenge with that road? Potholes, and the road is supposed to be expanded. They started the job is not finished. Everything is on the road anyhow. Potholes, too much traffic. It's full of traffic. For instance, going from Dawenya to Tema. At first, when I was here, that's 2007. It takes me 8 minutes to 10 minutes to get to Tema. But now you pay traffic for 1.5 hours.
So you can imagine me spending over 4 hours of my productive time in traffic. How do we survive like that? And we all taxpayers.
Well, so some disgruntled residents in the Kpone area. Well, the convener for the demonstration, Frana Abaya Wune, he noted that the inner road stretched from Kpone to Dawenya and are all in deplorable state despite paying taxes to the state. They are demanding immediate resumption of work on that particular stretch to make their lives a lot better.
The abandoned roads have resulted in unbearable traffic congestion, endangering commuters, especially school children and workers. Frequent accidents, including trucks turning upside down in temporary runabouts. Imminent danger to the tank farm storing petroleum products. Closure of shops and businesses due to the immense traffic. Loss of lives as witnessed by the tragic death of a grandmother. A former MP died here in traffic because she could not move to the hospital. We urge the government to immediately recall the contractor to complete the road project.
You know what, let's bring you a live feel of what is happening currently. And my colleague Joseph Atarika, he was there for us and he has joined me via Zoom. So Joseph, what is the state of that demonstration as we speak? Hello, Joseph, can you hear me? Joseph, if you can hear me, kindly unmute so that we can hear you. Right. So we are trying to establish better connection to our man. Joseph, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and join with the audio so that we can also hear you while you speak to us. That's Joseph Atarika. And we'll try so much to make sure that we have a smooth connection to him to get to bring you exactly what the state of that demonstration is and if they have been able to present a petition. And we'll get all of that done for you shortly. But let's do some other stories. And let's talk about health now. A lot is happening in the health sector, and the GHOne municipality in the Western North region is grappling with several neglected tropical diseases. Now, the area has been declared endemic for yaws, lymphatic filariasis, onchocerciasis, and soil-transmitted helminths. Now, Peter Kwao Adato, my colleague here, he has an exclusive interview with the Municipal Director of Health to get a detailed understanding of the situation in the area and what has been done about it.
The GHOne Municipal District in Ghana is currently facing a significant health challenge. This region is endemic to several neglected tropical diseases, NTDs, including yaws, lymphatic filariasis, onchocerciasis, and soil-transmitted helminths. Local health officials are working to combat these diseases through various interventions.
The GHOne municipal is endemic for NTDs. Yeah, so we have the interventions such as the mass drug administrations we do for onco. But for the yaws, we do case search, and those that come out positive, we put them on treatment.
Joseph Asigri further provided recent statistics of these diseases.
So for this year, January to May, we have recorded 194 confirmed cases of yaws, and there are still more out there in the communities. If we do more tests, we'll get more children who have the condition. And for lymphatic filariasis, we have had 35 for January to May.
Yaws thrives in areas with poor sanitation and hygiene. Access to potable water is limited. Onchocerciasis, on the other hand, is transmitted by mosquitoes in riverine areas, whereas soil-transmitted helminths or worms are contracted through contact with contaminated soil.
If you look at the interventions, they are targeted towards those areas where there is poor access to water. We try to get them clean water, provide them with sanitation facilities.
Organizations like RECFAM and ANISVAD are helping by providing water and sanitation facilities and offering livelihood empowerment programs for those affected by lymphatic filariasis.
We're looking at what we have seen on the field and the work we are doing. It's not possible for Ghana to achieve that. And then the WHO also say that by 2030 they should eradicate NTDs from the whole world. But given the fact that there's this superstitious belief behind it, we don't see how feasible that is going to be.
They are also setting up a community radio station for public sensitization.
Ghana Health Service, they've been doing their part and they've done so well. What needs to be done is, again, more awareness creation and to let people know that most of the diseases, the NTDs, are treatable.
Despite these efforts, challenges still persist, particularly with community perceptions and adherence to health interventions.
So I think RECFAM has really helped us with their project. And they also helped us in the case search. At least when they first came, we did a baseline data collection, we did some case search, and then some community treatment.
Beyond these NTDs, the GHOne municipality has significant health issues.
The number one cause of OPD attendance. These days too, we have diarrheal diseases. Anemia is also prevalent, especially among our pregnant women. There's something that we are trying to understand. Most of the pregnant women are very anemic.
Efforts to combat these diseases are underway, but more support and community cooperation. Lasting impact. Peter Kwao Adato for GHOne News.
Right, from the GHOne municipality, let's come to the Accra metropolitan area, where the chief executive of the AMA, Elizabeth Saki, is urging candidates in this year's BECE to stay away from lifestyle and vices that may land them in trouble after their BECE. Now, touring some centers on the final day of this year's BECE, the mayor congratulated the candidates for successfully completing their basic education exams and called on parents to also play their part in monitoring the movement of their children while they remain at home.
Whilst today is the last day for your exams, I know you'll be very happy finishing school, but my plea to you is that if you go out, don't go and misbehave. I was told that a lot of children after school want to go to the clubs, want to go to the beach, want to go to some many other places having parties. This is not the end of your life. This is just the beginning of another stage. And since you are going to another stage, you definitely should know that you need to comport yourself and behave well. I don't want to hear somebody went and drank and the person is dead. And so let us comport ourselves, live to the glory of God. We are living today so that anything that God has purported for you, you surely get it. Some can be engineers, others can be doctors, others can be teachers as well. So when you have comported yourself, definitely whatever God has destined for you, you surely get it. So let's comport ourselves even as we are finishing today. All your plans, just go and pray. Thank God for what He has done for you. He has sailed you through out till this time. So you are asking God, whatever you have for me, let me know and let me see so that I can lead that path. So let's all, in all humility. I did say, so I'm talking from experience when I have.
So you heard the Accra's mayor inspiring the younger ones to also avoid lifestyles that will put them in trouble. But this is Newsroom right here on GHOne Television. Let's bring you business. Business this afternoon. Social Enterprise Ghana, in partnership with Anisvad Foundation of Spain, is paving the way for a brighter future in the health services sector through the empowerment of social entrepreneurs. Now, 35 social entrepreneurs and non-governmental organizations are currently undergoing rigorous training as part of an initiative to develop cutting-edge solutions to Ghana's health service. There is more in the following report.
The 6-day training program, which aims to foster health-focused social entrepreneurship in the country, brought together a diverse group of participants to develop and invest in the sector. Out of 35 shortlisted participants from a nationwide competitive selection process, 10 will be awarded grants of €50,000 each to help them implement projects that will significantly improve the lives of vulnerable communities and individuals across Ghana. The initiative forms part of a broader effort to address health challenges in Ghana through social entrepreneurship.
We are improving the capacity of these health NGOs so that they can better serve and deliver on their mandate. We are providing them training in areas including identification of the neglected tropical diseases, how they can deliver on supporting and training the communities that are affected by NTDs.
Country focal person for Anisvad Foundation, Mahama Nantogma Ziblim, said the expertise and guidance for participants is crucial in equipping them with the skills and knowledge needed to make a lasting impact.
It is important that people take this seriously because the training is quite innovative, and this is the first time that a model has been developed in Ghana to be able to support social enterprises in the health sector. And so the certificate that people will get from here will help them not just to receive funding from NSBAD, but will also help them in applying to other enterprises that can be able to support them address this area.
Some participants shared their experiences and expectations for the program, highlighting the potential for significant change in their communities.
Our expectation is that we will be able to understand the concept of social enterprise, the different models of social enterprises, and even the simulation session that will help us to see social enterprises really at work. Because as a non-profit organization, one of our challenge has been attracting resources and secure funding to do our project and sustain the impact of our work.
People need to get the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, you cannot do anything. And so after this training, we would also organize sort of step-down training for our staff and even our population to give them more skills in whatever they are doing.
By investing in those innovators, NSBAD Foundation and Social Enterprise Ghana are contributing to a healthier, more resilient society.
Well, the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers Ghana has described the controversial legislative instrument that seeks to regulate cement pricing in the country as unconstitutional. There's been a lot of brouhaha surrounding this particular ally, with the Trades Minister, Katie Hammond, indicating that, well, no calls for him to not lay that particular ally will wash. Well, speaking at a stakeholders forum organized by the Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry, Executive Secretary of the Ghana Chamber for Cement Manufacturers, Bishop George Dawson Amwa, said upon further deliberations, it's quite obvious that that particular ally is unconstitutional.
You've all been present. We've had a very good stakeholder meeting being actually organized by the Chamber of Construction. In fact, it's really applauded. Like I said earlier on, this stakeholder meeting could have been done about 3-4 months ago. If you had done it, we wouldn't have been where we are now. From around the table and discussions, that have really gone into this LI, which has been laid in Parliament, and we are counting this. One very significant point comes out, which, of course, day in and day out, you learn actually to see the consequences of it. That it's unconstitutional, which, of course, comes as a mind-blocking, because looking at the drafters of the LI, if they did not consider this very concern which has really come up. I didn't even have this concern about a week ago or 2 ago. As recently when we been delving into what the LI is all about, that we got to know.
All right, so you're still listening or watching rather the Midday News right here on Star One on GHOne television. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Well, you're still watching news from radio on GHOne television. That's what happens when you do radio and television at the same time. But let's do some business stories, more of that. And stakeholders in the agricultural sector have described as unsurprising the content of the report of the Ghana Statistical Service on the 2023 multidimensional survey, particularly on the agricultural sector. Now, according to these stakeholders, the report serves as a significant indictment of Ghana's investment in agriculture and could deter the youth from pursuing careers in that regard. My colleague Rosemond Akwoko has more in the following report.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service's multidimensional poverty report, households headed by individuals working in the agricultural sector recorded a poverty rate of 34.3%, making them poorer than those in the industry and service sectors. The report explains that the agricultural sector is more than 5.5 times poorer than the services sector and about 3.8 times worse off than the industry sector. Reacting to the report, the General Secretary of the Ghana Agricultural Workers Union, Edward Caraway, told GHOne News that the report is a verdict on the failure of Ghana's policies and its inability to manage the economy, particularly agriculture.
For the past 4 years, agricultural production has been so bad that food inflation has been dominating the national inflation. Sometimes even up to 50% or more of national inflation. So the report coming from the Statistical Service, again, is a verdict of the failure of our policies and then our inability to manage our economy.
The Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Bismarck Norte, said the report sheds a grim light on the future of agriculture, indicating that the sector will not be attractive to the youth due to the high cost of production and investment. He also predicted that the figures in the next report from the Statistical Service will be worse.
The issue of agricultural infrastructure is key, and it's important that we have the right investment in that. Let's invest in irrigation. It will get a lot of people to readily go into agriculture. Let's invest in the production systems. How do we ensure that the cost of agricultural inputs are low? Because currently, farmers cannot afford to purchase the cost of inputs. Currently, if you even compare from 2021 to now, the average cost of production has increased by more than 600%.
The stakeholders urge the government to prioritize agriculture by addressing the issues affecting the growth in order to alleviate poverty among farmers in the country.
All right, Monica Bukari is here with the latest in the world of sports. Monica.
Good afternoon, Joshua. Joshua, all is set for the Black Queens to face off with Japan tomorrow in Japan. And ahead of the game, Princess Mafo has indicated her readiness to play for the Queens ahead of the game. Let's bring you details on this, plus other news making headlines in the world of sport. Now, Black Queens forward Princess Mafo has indicated her readiness to play against Japan in Saturday's friendly game at the Kanazawa Gogo Kerry Stadium. Now, the 20-year-old who gained her first call-up into the Queens camp have been rigorously training with the team ahead of the game.
Pleasure to join the Queens for the first time. The atmosphere has
Get to Sekondi, where work has begun at the Isipon Sports Stadium as the roofing over the stadium takes shape. The Sekondi Sports Stadium Isipon was left abandoned since 2008. The Isipon Sports Stadium hosted some matches during the 2008 Africa Cup of Nations hosted by Ghana. There were claims years back by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, who noted that repair works were 90% completion, but later checks revealed nothing was going on there to restore the stadium to its former glory. But a look at the stadium now shows contractors have begun facelifting the roofing of the stadium. We will bring you updates later on the game here on GHOne TV and Star FM. Now let's head to Africa, where Premier League champion Samatex FC will cross swords against Cameroonian side Victoria United FC in the first preliminary round of the CAF Champions League qualifiers. The Summerboy-based side will travel to Cameroon for the first leg before hosting Victoria United in Ghana for the second encounter. The first phase of the preliminary round of qualifiers is slated from September 13 to 15, 2024 for the first leg matches, with second leg set to come off from September 20 to 22, 2024. The winner of the upcoming game will the game between ASGNN or Raja Casablanca in the second preliminary round of matches, with a spot in the group stage up for grabs. Now, Samatex clinched the Ghana Premier League in their second season under head coach Nuruddin Amadou in the just ended campaign of the 2023-24 season. Now let's head to the Euros or in the English Premier League, where there has been growing feelings that Southgate would leave or his position after the Euros amid discontent from the fan base towards his stewardship. Now, but England want to tempt Gareth Southgate into managing England at the World Cup regardless of the outcome of Sunday's crunch final against Spain in the Euro 2024. His current deal with the English team expires in December, but a decision will be made in advance as England's Football Association want Southgate to stay and lead the Three Lions to the 2026 FIFA World Cup in America. Now, for more sports, join us here on GHOne TV and Star FM on The Game at 1 p.m. with myself and Benjamin Yamwa. My name is Monica Bukari. Back to you, Joshua. Are we still doing radio or you're back to TV?
Tyler, we are doing a mixture of both right here. Monica Bukari, thank you for the latest in the world of sports. You're watching Newsroom right here on GHOne Television. It's not radio. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Newsroom Radio on GHOne Television with me, Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Now, news coming in indicates that the founder of the new force, Nana Kwame Bediako, aka Cheddar, he has officially now declared that he is running as an independent candidate, and he secured provisional certificate to run as an independent candidate in the 2024 presidential election. So for those of you who thought that, well, this campaign was just for social media attention and not necessarily because we are going to Kwame Bediako during his Accra tours speaking to the people. And what we do know now is that for those of you who thought he was not going to be on the ballot paper, he's moved one step closer to being on the ballot paper. But our man Calvin Alija was there, and he has joined us to let us know exactly what panned out there. So Calvin, Nana Kwame Bediako securing provisional certificate from the EC to be on the ballot paper. Exactly what did he tell you more about that?
Okay, so the certificate is not about him as a person, but his movement, the news force. So what actually...
Right, so Calvin there, having a bit of technical challenge with his connectivity, internet connectivity, but on your screens you can still see some snippets of what happened earlier last month when Nana Kwame Bediako was touring. And yeah, so Calvin, if you can just unmute for me. We lost you briefly, but if you can unmute for me.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're live now.
Hello, Joshua.
Yes, I can hear you, Calvin. Just let me know exactly what that means.
So what I was saying is that the certificate is not for Nana Kwame Bediako, but for the new...
Well, challenges there. Internet connectivity right there. Well, we apologize for that, but we'll definitely bring you that conversation with Calvin in subsequent bulletins. But let's do what's happening on the foreign front. Now on the foreign front, 4 migrants are reported dead after a boat capsized during an attempt to cross the English Channel, according to the French Coast Guard. Now overnight, a Navy patrol boat reported that migrants had fallen into the sea off the coast of Boulogne-sur-Mer in northern France. Now 4 people found unconscious could not be saved, while 63 were rescued. A helicopter and fishing vessel also helped in the rescue effort. UK Home Secretary Yvette Cooper described the incident as truly awful. The Coast Guard said several people fell into the sea after part of their boat deflated. Now, the initial alert was raised at 4:30 local time, with the helicopter arriving about 30 minutes later. And that's it in this package right here on Newsroom on GHOne Television. There's more news for you at GHOne TV, on social media, as well as at starfm.com.gh. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Have a lovely afternoon.